I would like to dedicate this live to my Dribbble speech, which I gave early this year about Dribbble and Instagram and how that changed my life, and mainly to give some points about how to raise your following on Dribbble and on Instagram as well. I still have like 15,000 followers on Instagram, which is pretty much lame. But on Dribbble, like I think being like around the top 100 on Dribbble is quite an accomplishment. So let me just start. So about a month ago, as I said, I was invited to Dribbble meetup in Bratislava in Slovakia, along with two fellow designers. One was Aleš Nešetřil, which everybody knows obviously, and Jakub Tachin, which is an amazing designer from Slovakia. And we spoke about leveraging the social platform in a way we can benefit from the most. From sharing our work, building a community, and getting new clients, and much more. In my talk, I shared my points of view about the topic. The life behind 15K on Dribbble and Instagram. Something about me, I'm a self-taught designer whose goal when I was 17 years old was find a way how to learn how to photo manipulate pictures of myself and the girls I like. And as you can see, I really didn't stop there. When I was 19 years old, I did one first full-time gig in Czech Republic, a company called Social Bakers, which is the first one here. I was pretty impressed at that time. It was pretty impressive at that time when I was still living with my parents. That all changed a year after when I accepted design job at Badu, and then I met three guys building a mobile ads platform in London called TapDuck, and ever since I've been working with them as the only designer in the company, working on all of the stuff around the dashboard, landing page, or even the keynote for our investors. You might know me from Dribbble, from all of the dashboard shots and portfolio and places project, but mainly from the dashboards, which all of them are blue, and or from two of my products, from two of my digital products. One of them is called Symbols and Style Guides, and the second one is Dashboard UI Kit, which you might know from my Instagram as well. And as you know, nowadays I'm really passionate about occasionally sharing photos of my table and my designs on Instagram. So this is how it started, and this is how it goes. This led me to two main numbers, two numbers, not two main. One is 19.8K on Dribbble and 15.4 on Instagram, and that's really raising the challenge for me to keep up with everything what's happening around the design community and the Instagram community as well. But enough about me. The main topic and the reason why I prepared this presentation is to answer the most common question which I get on Instagram most of the time, and that's this one. Hello sir, can you help me become a designer? It's interesting to see how many people are studying, for example, computer science, but they are not really happy, and they would like to change their path and become something as I do. Not trying to really say be like me, because that's crazy. I really still find it slightly crazy when I consider what my life is really about. But let's go back to where I started. So when I look at the past, And when I began, I always thought the only thing which you really need is a Facebook page with your name and designer, Thunderbolt display, Moleskine, and MacBook. And then obviously buy tons of design and productivity books, which you will never read at the end. To my surprise, none of that really helped my career, even when I tried it and bought all of that stuff. And if you have a machine to work on, and that's already enough. You don't need to have a degree or own a fancy Mac to get started. I was actually crafting all my designs for like 4 years, and even in Social Bakers we still use Windows. So it doesn't really matter if you're using that or if you're using Photoshop, Sketch, XD, or whatever Figma is. The most important is to comment on everyone's work on Dribbble or Behance, to basically invite them to your portfolio, that you would like to appreciate their feedback on your stuff. No, seriously. The only thing which you need to do to be better, best or superstar designer is to work, as it stands on the slide. If you succeed, you will be led to life you dreamed about, and which is why I was mentioning that it's a bit crazy to think about that you would like to be like me, because this is the reality. You are all the time forced to get to work on some new designs, even that no matter what it is, who the person in the black robe is, even if it's client or side project or some ridiculous daily challenge like that I'm doing on Instagram. And that's basically it. The only way how to get those key numbers and be the best designer out there is to work. And I'm really surprised by the amount of questions I get all the time about this topic, and even more by people expectations of what magic formula I'm going to send them in my response. I'm not sure if they expect me to send them a link to a video how to become a Dribbble superstar in 4 weeks, or how to get 150 work inquiries by posting just two Dribbble shows or something. That's sadly not going to happen for any of us. There are no shortcuts and that I know about. On the other hand, while I'm doing this stream, is that I know some about at least few basic techniques which I trained over the year that help you become the searched and followed. So the main one, be different or be the best. The first key is to be different, design-wise, obviously, and often as a person as well, because working your butt off will usually change you from a human being to a robot. But how? How to be different? What I really mean by being different or the best is to focus on one particular stuff from the industry, or it can be at least like 2 or 3. This works for me and for all the other guys on Dribbble or Instagram who are well known for their major skill. This obviously goes hand in hand with them keeping their portfolio in shape, that when you arrive to their Dribbble, you will know that these guys are focusing on landing pages. You would contact this guy because he's doing amazing illustrations or animations. This is basically what I mean by keeping the portfolio in shape. So let me show you a couple of examples. This is what I mean by being different as well. This is tweet with photo narrative of guy diving his wife or whatever it is, and it got 135,000 likes on Twitter. But with the strengths, which I meant on the Dribbble, is that if you look at my stuff, you will know that I'm usually focused on the dashboards and on the web stuff and landing pages and this kind of stuff. If you look at, for example, Martin Sturba's profile, you will know that this is the guy who is doing the crazy, colorful, gradient landing pages. And if you look at my creative means, you will realize that that he's one of the craziest guys, and he's insane in everything, and you will probably give up on each of your life expectation and move to the marketing department the next day. I still wonder what kind of creative mint is he taking, because that's just ridiculous. I mean, look at it. My point here is to find your strong side and give it all of your time and work on it, master it. I believe my life and my work is another great example of why this is so important. Not really the mastering it, but one of the stories which happened to me is that 2 years ago I knew I had enough of working on client stuff, and I decided to design a package of dashboard designs, because most of the inquiries which I was receiving was for dashboard redesigns or create some sort of web application based project. Basically, to make myself a little dashboard factory, so I can just reproduce those screens and create the stuff for the clients, so I can basically generate money. So 3 months later, we released, and I mean we, because my girlfriend really helped me with this a lot, just by renaming all the layers and stuff, and basically keeping me going. We released the UI kit called Dashboard UI Kit, which I mentioned previously. And this is the graph of the revenue. We released this 67 screens package early in 2016, and I can really say that this really changed my life, and not really by helping me to become the king factory which I was basically aiming for, but by the fact that Dashboard UI started living its own life. This is, as I mentioned, this is the graph of total revenue of my 5 products. You can see that there are 2 mobile kits, which at that point I thought that this is actually quite okay revenue streams, at least like to get me some coffee sometimes. But this is the massive difference between these two, and this is actually just a freebie, which is the symbols and style guides, which you guys probably know. But even after 2 years, I'm still receiving emails about how my product helped some companies or individuals to quickly develop their MVP or the client project. They created overnight just with using the elements which I designed, and basically looking at those layouts and trying to easily find a way how to design something really easily and quickly for their clients. At the moment of release, there was nothing like this. That's the difference which I'm talking about. No web app focused design resource, and to this day there are just only a few packages still focusing on dashboards. Usually just copycats of some of the designs I designed for the dashboard UI kit. The point I'm trying to make is that just by releasing something that specific and focus on only one segment, I was able to generate solid passive income and become known for my strong side skill. So basically, just by releasing this product, everybody now knows that I'm the guy who's creating the web applications, and even with connecting with the work I'm doing at Tabdeck, this is the difference between me and the other guys, because I'm known for the particular stuff that I'm working on. The other stuff which I somehow mentioned before is that to be consistent, which is the same as I was basically saying. So you know that you need to identify your strengths, and we need to focus on the consistency. Why do people visit your Dribbble profile? That's the main question which you need to ask, because they probably find your work on popular page or via search. If you had some shots which were popular at some point in the history, and if they like what they saw at the first, they'll probably want to see more, which will let them to browse through your work and to see if your skill set matches their needs. So for example, if they are looking to redesign their landing page, they will be hungry to see if your approach, what's your approach in this particular field. And not surprisingly, same goes for your followers. Producing similar style designs and pics really works, and you know that from my profile, by just posting the same sort of niche of the table with the design somehow got me to the sort of community about designs. Producing similar style designs and pics works. People want their feed filled with what they like, even if it's travel stuff, if it's the design stuff, or if it's some ridiculous cars or whatever. This nicely works for us as the creators of the content as well. We don't really have to overthink our pictures and shots. After some time, you can easily tell what type of content works and what the audience is looking for. Couple of examples here. This is one of my friends from Russia, Alexander Zaitsev, who goes by the name N-Bolt, as you can see on the slide on Dribbble. And this slide is really a nice showcase of the consistency. He basically worked on the same design and just slightly changed it over and over again to see how it looks on iPhone X, starting from iPhone 6, then changing it how it looks on in material design and stuff. And he did this. I think I counted it with him. He did this like 24 times. So basically, that's 24 shots with always around 300 or 200 likes. And I think that's basically the main reason why he has the crazy number of. He already had like 18,000 followers at this point, and he's famous for the dark user interface. The next guy is a guy who started, for me still, the unbelievable daily 100 UI challenge on Dribbble. And to be honest, I do hate the fact that someone spends 100 days just posting random stuff, such as design of a keyboard for no clear reason, and without any expectations for the usability, just for likes. But it worked for him in terms of the growth. He turned himself into a rocket and went from like 2,000 followers to like 15,000 in just those 100 days, which for me, this took like 7 years of my life. His followers were waiting for his new shot every day and using that as an inspiration to start creating their own conceptual keyboards and confirmation pop-ups and etc. Which is ridiculous to me. Anyway, the next example is one of my favorite Instagram profiles is Symmetry Breakfast. It's a couple that shares their amazing breakfast every day, as you can see, always with a different type of cuisine. But as you can always see the same consistent style of the picture. They already have like 820,000 followers. The following example are the ones which I personally like, follow and read every day. Are accounts that share their daily life and struggles, wins and loses. So basically, if you're following me, you probably know these guys and girls as well. By sharing pictures of their workspace or things that they created, they can take you on a journey through their life progress, and it's almost like a daily big reality show, basically. So which is the same as with me, and this brings you back to. I'm just reading what you guys are saying here. I'll respond on all those comments in a sec. This brings us back to me. Last year I decided to delete all of my travel photos, as you probably know, and focus only on the design side of my life. I started 150 days challenge. I promised myself to share what are my plans and what do I on daily stand-ups every single day on Instagram. I started growing the community around my account, which is basically you guys, and the difference is really visible on the likes count. I don't think that you can read that, but basically from day one, which was 250 likes, I went in day 150 to around 930 likes, and as well with my following, which was from 2.9 to 8.7, and I really missed like 40 or 50 days during the 150 days, and I was able to pretty much the fact which was amazing to me was that I was really forced to work hard on my side projects and client stuff in order to be able to produce the shots of the workspace, because as you know, I'm not usually just taking pictures of my MacBook, I'm always sharing some message there, trying to always share some of my new designs, and to really show you what I'm working on, and so you will know that I'll be posting this on Dribbble in the future. The other part is to write. Even that we are all learning and hearing everywhere that people don't read websites and emails, this is a nice example of reality being really different. People love to stalk others, to my surprise. People actually do read my short Instagram posts. I started many conversations in direct messages or on email, or actually in real life about topics I shared in some of my posts. I was really surprised about the amount of people you can actually influence by just sharing stuff from your life, which is still crazy to me. Don't forget to share your process as well. Frankly, the process is usually much more interesting than the actual result, because we all can somehow do those fancy gradient pixels or whatever, but the sharing of the process and sort of argumenting why you did those things is the important part. You can do it in the same way as I did, by writing small description on Instagram posts or Twitter tips, or by sharing your whole journey. I was blown away when my article 26 Steps of Product Design got over 2.4 thousand recommendations on Medium, and was between top 100 most popular articles for more than a week, which I think is quite ridiculous. And it was spread, I think, like 40,000 times and viewed by 100,000 people. In the article, I share step by step how I go from the paper or pen to design, and which plugins I use in Sketch, and basically through the whole journey, which I think is the best way how to find the best user experience. All of this can nicely also connect your social presence, because as you can see, I'm sharing this on Instagram. Then I can post the live recording on YouTube to get other people from other platform. Then I will share the article on Medium, share a Dribbble post about the article on Medium, and sort of somehow connecting this with all of the social presence which I have and which I'm using it. And I'm still lacking the stuff like Twitch and really being active on YouTube, for example. So let's do a quick recap. To get those 15,000 followers, the only thing which you need to do is start the daily challenge, take on side jobs, generate stable income from your products, start selling them, do support for them, write articles, do videos on Instagram or on YouTube. So basically everything what you can do. And then basically this is how your life will look like every single day when you wake up. So numbers don't matter, quality does. Even if you have relatively big following next to your name, for example, on Dribbble, where it's especially really tough, you can still easily post a shot that will receive like 30 or 40 likes, even when you have those 15,000 or 20,000 or 30,000. So the uncertainty is there regardless if you have 500 or 30,000 followers. Fun fact, Dribbble is an amazing tool for instant feedback, or we can call it user bug testing or whatever. People just love to tell you what is broken, where and on which browser, so you can easily read and get instant report about non-functional stuff, which is quite good for small companies or startups as we are in TapDeck. So basically, just by posting the landing page, we instantly get feedback on every particular browser was broken where. So that's quite nice. As I mentioned first, it's all about the amount of work that you do. What makes you a great designer is the work that you put out there. In the end of our lives are basically some kind of weird CEO. It's all about how many backlinks you can collect to your profile, name, and products. Your work might be found through sites that you never heard of, but someone shared it there for you. Last thing, and obviously all of this is hard. And if you don't have, if you are still at the beginning, of your career, it's even harder. You're probably not floating in clients' projects or of your dreams. We've all been there and sometimes still are. So here are a few tips for you to wrap this up. Concept still works. I still see them every day on Dribbble, and we all do. But when you decide to do a great conceptual work, think about it. Don't just create like as I was mentioning last time, is don't just create a landing page for a plant or something like that, something crazy. Think about how in the same way as you would think about your client projects. Don't just create yet another Wikipedia homepage for design. Try to really lay down a couple of pages and think about how these pages would interact together. So even if you're doing an iOS app, if you're doing the web application or landing page, try to think about how the contact page, for example, would look like on the landing page. Try to think about how the theme page will look like. This is more important than just getting 300 likes on the landing page for a plant. That's really more important, and it's also really good to create concepts if you don't have the amount of the client stuff, which I did previously as well. So that's nothing to be ashamed of. But if you're really thinking about the process or the flow between those screens, you can easily create something conceptual which you can still talk about as it is like a real project. So when I was designing, for example, in Badu something, I then recreated it because I wasn't able to share that stuff. I sort of recreated it, and then I was able to speak about it when I was, for example, in an interview in Yahoo and the other companies, just to see how I can share these concepts without them being actually live. The next step is post at the right time. Dribbble, on Dribbble it's in the morning, in Europe on Monday to Thursday. That way Europeans will see your shots during their morning commute or breakfast, Asia during the lunch break or slightly after lunch break, and after being in the game for already around 5 or 6 hours, you will hit the US people browsing in the morning, and the same basically as in Europe. I haven't done this differently since like 2012, and I think it really works. And Morgan Allen Knudsen, designer from Dropbox, was basically mentioning this on Quora as well. On Instagram, you have a nice table and graph in your analytics, so you can easily tell which days and times works the best. Stop crying, and remember, we all started at the zero. And I also had 100 followers and was posting shots which had like 5 likes, and I was really struggling. Why is that happening to me? And at some point I was really happy for getting 15. Dribbble is an amazing platform which helped me to get all of my 4 full-time jobs, promote my stuff, and get me most of the clients in the past 6 years. There's also a growing number of articles about how Dribbble is broken and how hard it is to be on popular page, which I still think it's just people not really trying to give it that much thought. It took me like 3 years to get to like 1,000 or 2,000 followers, but also with slight update with the recently improved onboarding flow, as you might see on some of my Instagram stories. Where the onboarding flow is based on picking a few trending designers. I slightly agree that the Dribbble is getting a bit hard, and the gap between people with 5,000 followers and those who are starting is getting a bit wider, but not impossible to overcome, I think. And the last thing, work on projects that fulfill you, and only those. And as a goodbye, work on the client stuff and side projects that moving you to the next level, and when you'll be learning new techniques. I'm hearing more and more about how people are stuck in the jobs where they can share anything new NDA, and because of lack of the shareable quality, work and help clients where the client will be glad for a free promo on your network, because that's the best quality proof you can give them, and by sharing the real stuff you're proud of. Nobody would post when they didn't like the results. And that's it. Have fun. Thanks for reading and watching the live, and happy followers hunting. I'll be posting this on Medium and also on YouTube uh, tomorrow, so you can read the article as well, and basically just watch the presentation again on YouTube.